You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
Happy Saturday! Welcome to the show. I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
And over running the board, we have Sam. She doesn't have a microphone right now.
Hi, Sam.
So last night was amazing. I had an opportunity to attend an event and interview Sheriff Joe, Dr. Ben Carson, Trent Franks, several other, Raven Valdez, who is of Raven Events, and we are going to be at her B2B networking event September 11th.
Can't wait.
Yep. Celine Durney, who is going to be here later in the show, she was there. She was actually singing
Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace, thank you.
I was like, I didn't hear it all, but I know she said Grace, so
yeah,
I'm going to go with that.
Grace. Thank you. And what was really cool is that Sam and I have gotten to do some video work together, but we haven't been able to do a red carpet event, and we got to do that last night. And I got to tell everybody, if you're looking for a videographer, if you have a red carpet event and you'd like to hire Sam, I'm just pimping you out right now.
Thank you.
Because she is for hire.
Do you get a portion of that payment? Because that's how pimping works.
Okay, then I guess I'm not really pimping her out.
Okay.
I'm just promoting her
because
thank you. She was amazing. Having done a red carpet event before where I worked with another videographer, and I won't name that videographer, but there was an issue. Tom Hanks was in front of me, and that video didn't get captured. So what was really cool is I got to work with Sam, and Sam is the young buck in the group. But the fact that she's younger than me did not intimidate her. She absolutely was giving me solid direction, telling me what to do, and I liked it.
You're there, Rob?
Well, I like being told what to do.
Well, didn't we learn that the other week, though?
Did we?
Well, we learned that here's the problem. If we're talking about the bedroom, and telling her what to do. The problem is that there's so much in there she doesn't like to do that I don't know what someone would tell her.
That's very true.
That's true.
Yeah, take the lotion. Ew, gross.
You want me to what?
Yeah.
With my what?
Do what? No.
I'm not going to do that. It's messy.
It's really messy.
I really don't like things that are messy. I was recently watching this color run thing.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, they're getting
pummeled with color.
I was like, that's just messy. Because then you're going to get in your car and it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't think about the car thing.
I think they have like portable showers.
So then you're going to be wet and in your car.
Well, you grab a towel.
What about like when you come from a water park? What do you do then?
I don't know. I've never gone to a water park.
What?
You've never gone to a water park?
Like
no.
Like with slides and you've never done?
I've taken my kids to one, but
you've never...
I've never actually...
You don't get in the water?
Michelle, the first time that I've ever worn a bathing suit in public was at that event that you invited me to.
James's unit party?
Yes. First time I've ever...
We need to fix this.
Right?
Yeah.
There's some fun rides out there. You have to experience them.
But that involves wearing a bathing suit in public and...
Let's put it this way. Every time I've gone to that, I worry that I'm going to look like, oh my God, my stomach. And then I go around and I see the other people who are wearing like next to nothing, like, I don't feel so bad anymore.
Also, don't think anyone's paying any attention to you because they probably aren't. They're there to have their fun. They're not there to check out who's there. So you're really not that important, even though I know you would like to think you are. You're really not.
I'm not that important?
No! No one's going to give a crap.
I give a crap.
Well.
Yeah. Well.
So, anyway. I want to thank Tech Webcaster for having me on the show last night. It was great. It was a wonderful experience, and I just want to thank them.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for having me on the show last night.
Are they sleeping right now?
I don't know, but if you listen, hey, thanks for the invite, guys. I appreciate it. I know you're scared to have me on. It's okay.
Yeah,
you should be.
They're probably like, oh boy.
You even though you weren't on the show, you were there
in spirit
because I was talking about you.
Oh dear God.
Oh no, I shared with them how unique the show is, and that Michelle and I from time to time we don't agree. And that's kind of the premise of the show. You know, it's no boundaries, it's no limits. It's about sharing what you think, and we may not agree, but we're gonna have that conversation. So
well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't say anything bad.
Nope, nothing bad to say on air.
Well, in public.
where it's being recorded.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Well,
so what do we got this week?
Okay, so today we've got two guests that are going to be in studio. A little bit later, we're going to learn about a wild boomer women event that's coming up here on the 20th.
Sounds crazy.
And there is a local artist, a local singer, and I've been watching her career for, gosh, I think it's been 4 years now, and I'm just really impressed with her, and I like to have these continual updates. So she's going to be in studio, she's going to share what's going on, and she's going to sing for us in studio,
Yay.
which is awesome. But before any of that can happen, first we have the WWW. The WWW. Dun, 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 dun. I feel like there should be some dramatic music there, you know,
Like dun 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 dun, like that.
like I just did. Dun, 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 dun.
We don't need music. We got us.
We got sound
dun.
effects. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
So,
There it is.
okay, that's definitely better than my dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it is. That's why we love seeing.
Okay, thank you, Sam. So this is the wild, this is the wonderful, and this is the weird stories that Michelle has found out on the interweb.
I did. Before we go into the wild, wonderful, and definitely wacky, just like to put the Joan Rivers family in our thoughts and prayers. She did pass away this week at 81. And what an amazing, remarkable woman she was, and really opened kind of the pathway for what we're able to do, you know,
Absolutely.
when it comes to comedy and TV and radio, all of that.
Joan Rivers was the first woman to host an evening talk show. It only lasted for 7 months, but she was the first woman to host that. And when asked, you know, what do you think it will take for women to do that, her response was, when the right woman comes along, when she's strong enough, you know, it's really not about gender. It's about the right woman. And so far, there hasn't been the right woman. I think we could do it.
We absolutely.
I totally, when I heard that quote, I was like, Michelle and I,
we could
host a night.
So it is definitely very sad, but I did find on YouTube this week a clip of her having a conversation with Melissa, and I just think it's remarkable. So we're going to play it.
No, but I'm no chicken. I've had a great life, an amazing life. If I died this morning, nobody would say so young. You're a terrific person. Coop is fine. You're all fine. I've had an amazing life. If it ended right now, amazing life. And you've been wonderful, and we've had a great ride together.
You know, I know you're nervous, and I feel
So
honored about that.
amazing mother-daughter bonding conversation, and that's where her head was at.
That's where her mind was, you
Yeah.
know, and the reality is that she did have a remarkable life, and the relationship between her and Melissa, I think, is a beautiful one. And so I thought that was very touching. And like I said, she was 81, and I think people, for a second, you don't really think of that because she looked great.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
she looked phenomenal, but she was 81. She
Well,
lived a great life.
And she's had a lot of work done, and she's been an advocate for, if you've got the money and you want to have the work done and it's going to make you feel better, then have the work done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Do you think she would still say that now,
yes.
despite what happened?
Well, the work that she was having done was on her vocal cords, and I don't know that was, I mean, I don't know enough about
Right.
the work that she was having done, but it sounds like she was at peace with her life. And I wonder how many of us can say the same thing. You know, if today was the last day of your life, are you at peace? Is everything, would you feel like I've had a full life and I'm okay with everything?
Yeah.
I don't know how many of us can say that.
I don't think a lot of people can say that.
Right.
You know, so if those are the last words you hear from Joan Rivers, I hope you take it to heart, because it
Yeah.
was actually a pretty profound statement.
And Melissa Rivers is going to have a big task ahead of her, because putting on her funeral, Joan Rivers has been very clear about what she wants that funeral. It's going to be an epic event.
Oh, yeah.
Red carpet event. You know, she wants Meryl Streep in tears, you know, the best performance of her life, you know. So she was very clear about how she wanted her funeral to be, which I just thought, you know, for a woman that really seemed to know where she was going and to know how it's going to end,
Yeah.
I was, touched by that.
So it's a great loss. But anyway, so a little bit of wonderful because we have some kind of not so wonderful news that I found. So I thought, well, let's at least have some wonderful thing. This story actually comes from India, but it is about a 60-year-old homeless man. This is just going to talk about humanity.
Okay.
Okay. A 60-year-old homeless man who lost his job and his family 3 decades ago, so 30 years ago. He cleans the rail platform in a rail, why can't I think
Train
of that?
station?
Railway station. Yeah,
Yep.
train station. Anyway, he cleans. He doesn't get paid for this. He just does this, and he takes care of 6 or 7 stray dogs by feeding them what he finds while he's, cleaning everything, and he feeds them before he feeds himself. So it's a little bit of humanity out there.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think so. So now let's talk about some weird and not so human people. No, they are human. But anyway, these 3 chicks in Vegas, okay? 2 of them meet these 2 guys at the hotel.
Sounds like a bad joke.
No.
3 girls walk into a bar.
It is a bad joke. So, but it isn't a joke. But anyway, they were at the Encore Hotel in Vegas. 2 of the suspects met up with a group of guys. They go back to the room, start, making out, having sex. One of their friends joins them. And a little bit later, the gentlemen realize they can't find their Rolex watches. So they go to chase the women. Women get in the elevator. They've seen the footage. The women put the Rolexes in their vagina.
Oh, and they had a stun gun. So when
And
the
they had
guys
a
went
stun
to chase them, they pulled out a stun gun.
Yeah.
So the guys didn't
Yikes.
pursue.
The guys didn't stop. They
Yeah.
put the Rolexes up their vagina. The best part of this story, and this is why I wanted to do this.
That wasn't the best part?
No. The one suspect, Trinity Kennard, her quote was, "I thought when stuff like this happened, it's just like a personal thing. I didn't think the police would get involved and I could go to jail."
What?
Yeah. Now, the even funnier part is that this is actually the 2nd vagina smuggling case reported in Vegas this year.
That I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
Because it's Vegas.
Yeah. I guess it's just every sort of common sense when you go there for people just seems to out the window completely.
Well, I just think it's funny that she doesn't think that she just thought it was going to be, something that.
Well, it's like
That's just weird. It
is weird.
the first thing I would think is there some place in the elevator that I can like push it up top or hide it? I guess if I'm
pocket
gonna
in my purse, not a pocket in my puss. Something.
Oh, that was just weird. Sorry. Yeah,
Oh
that
my
was
goodness.
definitely a weird one.
So anyway, bless their little hearts, they are in jail and they're going to probably spend a little bit of time there. But out of Portland, Maine, okay, there is a story right now. A teenage mother is fighting a do not resuscitate order imposed on her brain damaged daughter. Did you read the story?
I did.
So basically, the child welfare officials have put a do not resuscitate on the infant. I think she's only 8 months old.
And that just means
6
they what exactly?
She was involved. Her father shook her so badly that she has brain damage.
Okay.
So much that when this first happened, they put her on life support. They took her off, put her in her mom's arms so that she could pass peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
The baby didn't. She started breathing. So they then put her on life support, back on the life support. However, she is so brain damaged, she cannot suck, so she will not be able to eat. She cannot see. She cannot
She's
hear.
a vegetable.
So the welfare department, because the child was put into their custody because the father did do this, they are putting a do not resuscitate order on her, and the mother is fighting to take that off.
Some of the things that I found interesting about this story is that the judge was claiming that because the mother hasn't gone to visit the child regularly, that the mother can't be counted on, and also that the mother has voiced the desire to reunite with the father.
Oh yeah.
So for-
that's just
like,
dangerous.
But here's the thing. That's a separate issue.
Correct.
Like whether or not the mother decides to reunite with this father, separate issue. That should not even be in the conversation about the whether or not the do not resuscitate is going to be revoked or not.
Right.
I don't even know why the judge is bringing that into the conversation.
Because that's a what if, and you could what if any case.
And I also think how much the mother has been there is quite subjective. You know, what does that mean? Well, the mother hasn't been there as much as I think the mother should be there. There's some other factors that maybe we're not aware of. You know, is this mother working 2 jobs and she's there as much as she possibly can? Is this mother also so distraught over what has happened to her child? And, you know, there's a lot here that I feel like they're not talking about in the story. And I don't understand why child welfare is involved in the conversation about the do not resuscitate. They're not doctors, and they shouldn't be the ones saying whether or not. If the doctors are saying, you know, medically, it's not kind.
However, it's still the parent's right. Whether a doctor says to you, listen, your child is always going to be in a vegetable state. They are never. It is still the parent's decision. It is not the doctor's, you know, their job to do that. I don't understand why she doesn't have the child back, unless there's some type of investigation still going on with her involvement.
Would she have signed? I don't want to say signed off, but like, is it completely in child care's custody to the point where she's technically not even?
They don't say.
Right.
But the fact that when this happened, you know, he is in jail and he is facing charges.
Right.
But the fact that they took the baby from the mother makes me think that there's an investigation thinking that she is somehow involved.
But she was at work. She wasn't even there when this happened. So
why does CPS have the child?
Because this is one more case where we have these rules and common sense doesn't enter. The robotic rule is when something happens, the child is removed. They don't take into account the father's removed from the situation. He's not a threat. It's just, these are the rules. We have to follow the rules. You know, so that's my thought on it. I think it's sad that the parental rights don't seem to matter here, and I think it's interesting that the court is able to say whether or not the court is able to decide the value of life.
But that's because that's what Child Welfare Services is saying, and right now that child is in their custody.
But they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be in the conversation.
Well, they shouldn't be, but the child is theirs.
I understand that, but it's ridiculous.
I'm wondering if she'd be better off to be fighting of, I want my child back. There's no reason. It's not really about the do not resuscitate. I mean, it is, but I think it's more
at the end of the day
is,
I want my baby.
Hey, I want my baby back. There's no reason for you guys to keep my child from me and keep my rights from my child because I didn't have anything to do with this.
Well, and I read another article that the governor has gotten involved in this story also. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and what happens.
Yeah, it absolutely will. So, but my heart goes out to her. And as far as the husband, Kevin Peasley, he's 22. I hope he burns in hell.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
Anyway, here locally in Phoenix, we have a news story. Alleged statutory rape victim ordered to pay $15,000 in child support.
Explain.
Okay, so there is a man now at this point. When Nick Olivas was 14, he claims that he had an alleged affair with a 20-year-old woman. 2 years ago, the older woman filed for public assistance. He is now 24. And at that point, he found out that he is the biological father of her daughter. So now CPS, because she's looking for financial assistance, is going back to him. They want $15,000 in child support plus money for his daughter's birth expenses and a 10% interest. He says that he should not have to pay a cent of that because he was a victim of statutory rape. However, he did not file anything in regards to this. So they're saying he can't go back now because there is a...
Right.
Okay, so here's what's... No, and he also said that he has no problem paying child support now.
Correct.
And he wants to be a part of his child. Now that he knows that this is his child, he wants to be a part of the child's life. I kind of feel, I feel like it's not right that he's having to pay that child support for when he was a child. And I wonder if the judgment and the decision would be different if it was gender reversed. If the person that was raped at 14,
Mm-hmm.
statutory rape,
Mm-hmm.
was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Would this be going differently? Would there be more of a public outcry? You know, that if you're looking at a 14-year-old girl, 20-year-old male,
Mm-hmm.
would the perception and the decision be different?
I would have to say yes, sadly, I guess.
Yeah, but the problem is that he never reported this. It's
Yeah.
not like he reported this. And so I think it'd be the same thing if it's a girl and she did not report this and 10 years later or whatever, she's trying to say, hey, I want to get money. I was raped.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
So
people are
she
gonna
would
say
be
you-
awarded.
Well, apparently, yeah, they're going to go back, you know, but what I'm saying is I don't know that the outcry, I think people would still say, why didn't you report it?
But think about it. You're a 14-year-old kid. You're having sex with a 20-year-old. I'm sure in his mind at 14, it didn't feel like rape.
Correct.
You know, as an adult, maybe looking back on it, he's now realizing that was ridiculous. I was 14 years old. I was taken advantage of.
Right.
And that we don't honor that, I think, is ridiculous. And I think it's a role reversal, and I think it's very sad.
Well, and I think what else is sad, and not just in this case, but you know what, for you women out there, I think it's very unfair if you have a kid and you don't let that man know and you're going to come back years and years later and demand
by the
support.
way, yeah.
You know what? I think that's bullshit. And I think there need to be laws that protect men in that situation.
agree.
Because you know what? You can't hold me responsible. If I didn't know for 8 years that this was my kid, now you want me to go back and
the worst
pay
though
for all
is
of
that they slam them too. Like, you weren't there. It's like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to be there. So
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think there need to be laws for that. You
I
know,
completely
if you have not, you know, let the father know, they really should not be held responsible for that. So that's my thing on that. We don't have
I think we got time for one quick.
we have
'cause
time for one more, and,
Okay.
and this is one that I really want to talk about real quick because it does also it's here locally, and I think it's important to talk about. And this is the gentleman, or the boy, I should say, not a gentleman, but he's his name is Nick Floyd. He is 16. He's fighting cancer right now, and he was supposed to a month ago have a surgery to remove one of the lungs. And I went onto his Facebook page to kind of get an update and see how the surgery went. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do the surgery because the cancer had spread too much.
yeah.
So I'm going to share on the No Limits page, his page. You know,
It's a pretty amazing story.
it
I
is.
think.
He has a really, really great friend who's
Yeah.
helping him through this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure his family is too. But just our thoughts and prayers are with him. And I really want to post that so people can at least add, if you pray, if you donate, whatever you do.
Everybody I know, he's from the West Side, from West Valley, and everybody I know, you know, my neighbor came to me with this story originally, and he had told me about this boy and asked me to do a video about him. And said, you know, he's dealing with a lot of things, and they talked about amputating his leg and all this stuff, and he's so strong about it all despite his age. I believe he's 15 now?
He's 16.
And he's talking about things like, is it worth it to go through the chemo again, or can I just enjoy the time I have left? And that's some
Wow.
crazy stuff for
It
a
is.
16-year-old to be saying.
But after I was reading the post from the family from the surgery, they're looking at 2 to 3 months, and they
Mhm.
have decided that they are not going to do any more treatments. He's just
Yeah.
going to, you know, enjoy his
Live
time. I
his
guess he
life.
wants to get a tattoo. If any of you tattoo artists are out there and
They
want to
actually-
donate it,
they-
it's awesome.
If you read we'll share the fundraising event, but they have a tattoo artist that's already
Good.
commissioned to do the tattoo. They want to do a trip to Hawaii, so they've got this
That's
great
cool.
bucket list fundraiser
And
going.
His big thing I noticed since this whole thing had started is he's a guy after my own heart. He's picked up photography. And that's been his way of showing his view of the world since this whole thing has happened. So he's been out there shooting, and I can appreciate that as a fellow photographer.
That's awesome.
So our prayers go out to Nick and his family. So we have to take a break. When we come back,
We will have our guest in studio, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. This has been No Limits Radio Show. I'm Christina.
and I'm Michelle.